everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Maggie. Today is my rotating Panlos palettes and we are rotating today. So I'm finishing kind of the first chunk of the year. I'm going to show you the progress I made. We'll talk about pans and my pan percentage, and then I'm going to introduce you to the eyeshadows and palettes that I'll be working on for the next kind of middle third of the year. So I broke the year into 4-month chunks. It just seemed like that was the best thing for me. And I'm really excited to kind of, freshen things up, have some new items. So let's start with what I have achieved in the first 4 months of the year. So I have been working on two Natasha Denona palettes, the Glam palette and the Mini Retro. And then I also have had this Z palette of mostly ColourPop shadows that I've been working on as well. So I have a new pan to share with you, which I'm super excited with. So it comes from the Mini Retro palette, so we'll talk through here. I spent a lot of time focusing in on these two shades. So I did finally hit pan in the pink shimmery shade. It's called Pixie. So hopefully you're seeing that okay. And I just did a really nice two shadow look. I'd put the matte in the crease, I'd put the shimmer all over the lid, and it was beautiful. So I did finally hit pan. I think, let me look here. I have 28 uses since the beginning of the year. And I think it took me like 26 to hit pan, and then I used it once or twice after that. So 26, 27. But I do have another pan in here, which is super, super exciting. The other shades in here, I, used every shade once during the 4-month time span, but I was really, wanting to see another pan in the shimmery pink here. So really, really pleased that I finally did that. Overall, still really like this palette. It's a great kind of spring winter palette, I feel like, and it's also really excellent for traveling. The only thing that's missing for me from this palette is a matte cream shade or matte white shade, but it's easy to just bring something like that as a single. So really, really like this palette still. Glad I, put some more focus and energy into it, and I got another pan, which is super exciting. So in my, so many things on my desk right now. In my planner, I have this page on the back, which is a diagram of all of my different palettes. So we are going to mark for the Mini Retro, which is right here, that I hit pan in the pink shade. So I am using the color pink to indicate this year, whereas green and yellow indicate other years. And then this kind of hashed line means pan. When I fully color it in, that means I've finished the shade. So another one colored in, which feels really good. So that's exciting. And I did hit pan on the 24th of April. I wrote that down. So I'm well on my way to making some progress in my palettes, my shadows. My kind of overarching year goal is to hit pan or finish 13 eyeshadows. So I've accomplished 2 in this first kind of round of rotating palettes, which is super exciting. Okay, so let's talk about the Glam palette next. This I bought for myself as like a Christmas birthday present. My birthday's at the end of the year, and I love this palette. I'm so glad I bought it. I did rearrange the shadows so they're not in the same order as when you just buy this palette, because on the back there are these little holes. I just used a safety pin to pop the shadows out and then rearranged them. So I really love how I rearranged it. My brain functions better when I have kind of my lights and my darks, my shimmers, and all of it organized kind of in a more ombre type thing than scattered. So really, really love this. My main goal for this palette was to use every shade once, which I did finally do. We were waiting on this dark brown down here, and I did finally use it. I just used it as kind of like a smudgy liner. So kind of an easy way. I just was putting it off. So I'm really, really happy with this. I use every shade at least once. A couple of the favorites in here. This one, it's kind of like this medium gold. Absolutely love. I used it all over the lid a ton. Let me see here. I used this one 14 times since, I started at the beginning of the year. I also really love this warm matte down here. So I use this in the crease. I use this 15 times. So those are the two that really stand out with my numbers. But the other ones, you know, have kind of 2-3 uses in each of the other shades. So really, really loving this. I am going to, you know, give it a little bit of a break, but I will be bringing it back towards the end of the year, I think. So really, really loving this. And again, I know that these are expensive palettes and it seems like every year they just get more expensive, but I'm really glad I bought this one. I don't know if I'd buy other ones or not in the full like midi size. I think that these little ones are better like value in my opinion, but I'm really glad I got the glam on it and I'm loving it. So no pans in there, but I wasn't expecting any pans to be in there, to be honest. So let's move on to the Z palette last. So again, this is mostly ColourPop shades. The only exception to that is this one down here. This is from ABH. It's Bon Fresco. So I used all of these shades multiple times. But going across the top here, this first row, I already had pan on the cream matte shade here, but I definitely am getting, you know, a lot of progress showing here. So let me just kind of show you what this is looking like. So I definitely have made a lot of progress. I ended up using this 61 times in the first 4 months of the year. So I do think this is on its way to being finished up. I will be rolling this one over into the next, you know, grouping of shadows. The other one in here that I was hoping to hit pan on, which I haven't yet, is this one called Coastline. This from the Wild Nothing palette from ColourPop. So I have a really good dip going in here, but I don't have pan quite yet. So we'll be working on this one a little bit more. I definitely have kind of like drilled down into the center. I typically use this on the inner corner, but I have it all over the lid today. I was hoping maybe I'd hit pan, but I didn't. So that's okay. But I used this one 36 times. And then going across the middle row here, I obviously do have pan. This is a pan that I hit in February. So this is the shade Silk Teddy. And once I hit pan on it, I kind of stopped using it. I went into focusing on other lid shades. That's how I was able to hit pan on the pink and, you know, make a lot of progress in the Glam palette. But this one, beautiful shade. I absolutely love it. I could see myself finishing this shade at some point, you know, in my makeup collection life. Because it is such a gorgeous kind of beigey shimmer shade. Like it's not too gold, it's not too pink, it's just kind of very neutral and I loved it. So that was good. And then for the bottom row here, I use this purple as kind of a colored liner sometimes, which was fun. I used it 4 times, so nothing crazy. And then I have this matte black down here that I use as a liner when I want to wear liner. So I used it 16 times in total since the beginning. I've kind of gotten off of eyeliner lately. I don't know. I just feel like in the springtime, I like a little bit of a lighter eye look, and not doing liner is one of the ways I feel like I can make an eye look lighter. So I will still keep kind of like a designated liner shade in my rotation, but I'm not sure if I'll, you know, hit pan anytime soon or anything like that, but it definitely is nice to have that go-to shade. And I feel like this Z palette has a lot of kind of just go-to. Don't have to think about it. There were plenty of days where I just used this palette to get ready. I didn't even reach for any of the other, you know, kind of focused palettes I was working on. And I like that. I like that this can be standalone. And I also like that it complements the other palettes I was using. So that is the update there. Super exciting. Right now, my pan percentage, so I have 135 eyeshadows in my collection between all of my palettes and singles and things like that. I have pan in 19 of those. So that gives me a 14.07 pan percentage, which is awesome. Last year I was able to hit 20% and then I kind of did a declutter and got rid of a palette that had a ton of pans in it. So I'm working back towards that 20%. I don't know if I'll hit it this year or not, but 14% is really, really good. So I'm very happy with that. So I think what I'll do now is rearrange my Z palette, maybe just like dust this off a little bit, and then we'll talk about the palettes and shadows that I'll be working on for the next 4 months and kind of give you those starting points that we can use for comparison shots. Okay, my friends, so from May through August, these are the palettes and shadows I'm going to be focusing on. So I've got 2 ABH palettes that I've selected. So the first one is the Soft Glam 2. This is one of my favorite travel palettes. I do have 3 pans in here already. So I've got 2 here and then 1 down here in the black, but I still have, you know, some nice colors that I'd like to work on and hit pan on. I'm not sure if I'll focus too much on the ones with pan, but you know, I've got some nice kind of fun orangey berry mattes that I can play with, as well as sultry down here, the kind of shimmer. So this will be the first palette that I use and kind of rotate through. I definitely would like to use every shade at least once. That doesn't have pan anyway. So, you know, at least once to try to remember what all the shades are like. It's been a while since I've used the palette, so I think that'll be a good goal. And then the second palette I have is the Norvina palette, which I actually am really excited for summer. So for me, my makeup and kind of how I do my makeup, what I like for makeup, all of those preferences change during the summertime. I'm very much into like a one shadow look in the summer. And I think that this has a lot of really great options for one shadow looks. So up here we have a row of shimmers. I think something like Summer, something like Rose Gold, Celestial, all of those will be really, really pretty for the beginning of summer and into summer. And then I also have some really nice mattes down here to pair with these shades. So I have one pan in here on Dazzling, but would definitely love to see a couple more pans. The nice thing is that the ABH palettes, the pans are pretty shallow, so it's not super difficult to hit pan, at least for me. So I do think between the Soft Glam and here, I should be able to hit, I don't know, probably like 4 pans, I would say, maybe 5. But I'm definitely excited, and Dreamer is a shade that's in both, but I've already hit pan in it over here in the Soft Glam. So I will work on hitting pan in it over here. I know that I like it. Obviously I've hit pan in it. So that's, and then there's also Incense as an overlap, but I don't have pan in either of those. And it's so interesting. It's the same color, but it looks darker in this palette, but it's the same color. So yeah, I think this will be really nice. Wild Child, the pink will be really pretty sometimes too. So it was definitely strategic in picking something that had one shadow type looks. So yeah, that's going to be the second kind of pre-made palette. So these will be the focus. And then for my Z palette, I have a couple of rollovers and a few new shades. So this is what my Z palette looks like. I definitely went kind of like a warmer orange vibe here. So let's go across the top. We can start over here. So this is Full Expose, the matte that I've been working on. So I will keep working on this until I finish it. And then I also have Coastline here in the center, again, looking to hit pan on Coastline. And at the end, this is kind of like a satin matte. And this comes from the Wild Nothing palette from ColourPop. And this is called Top Down. I think this would be just a nice transition shade. And as I get tanner, I may be able to use this as like a lid setting shade. We'll see. That might be like, it might be a little too peachy for that, but I would definitely want like peachy tones in here. So in this middle row, I have the first one. It's kind of like a cooler tone shimmer. This is from the Bare Necessities palette. It's called Rumored. And then in the center, I have Designer Duds, also from Bare Necessities palette. And at the end, I have Hot Springs, which is from the Wild Nothing. And Hot Springs is one of those where it's a matte, but it's got glitter. But like when you tap the brush off, the glitter falls off. So it's essentially a matte shade, but I really like the color of it. And then at the bottom, I've got Spyglass, so that black again, that I can use as a liner if I choose to. And then I've got Alcove, which is from the Wild Nothing palette, which is a really nice kind of chunky orange shimmer. I really like that one. I guess I can do a couple of swatches here. So that's Alcove. They're really, really pretty. And then the bottom matte is called Morningside. So it's just kind of a nice orangey matte. And I think it'll complement, I've got Orange Soda in here. So I think these will go well together and kind of complement each other. And then I also have, you know, some kind of golds that I think will complement from the Norvina palette. So that's the goal, is for all of this to kind of be cohesive, but I could also just kind of pick and choose one or the other. I don't have to be in a bunch of palettes every day. So yeah, let me do a couple of swatches. So I already have Alcove there. Maybe we can do one more. I'll do Designer Duds here in the center. Super, super pretty. So that one's a little bit more of like a berry bronzy orange. Really like that. And then from the Norvina palette, maybe we'll do Summer, which is a gold. Love that. It's so soft. Oh yeah, that's a good gold. It's kind of like a bronzy gold. So again, when I get a little bit more color on my skin and I want to do a one shadow look, like that's something I would reach for, as well as rose gold, which again, also a little bit deeper against my skin tone right now. But in the summer, when I get, again, color, and when you buff it, you know, you can use different types of brushes on colors like this to make it a little bit less intense. And I think it's going to be gorgeous. And then might as well round this out for soft glam. Maybe we'll do sultry and like orange soda here. Actually, I would like to see sultry next to rose gold, so this is a good opportunity. So we'll do sultry, orange soda. Okay, so sultry is a little bit more brown. Sultry is there, rose gold's there. That's orange soda. So yeah, a lot of fun colors. I'm definitely excited to start playing. And you know, some of the shades in Norvina, I can't really remember how I like to use them, if I've used every shade in there. So I think having the goal to use everything at least once makes a lot of sense. And I'll be tracking my usages. We'll be counting and then also taking progress photos along the way. So that is it for today's video. A little bit longer because it's the transition, but very exciting. And I hope to have a new pan in Coastline next time when we chat. So put the vibe out there. That's what we're looking to accomplish. But I hope you guys are doing well. If you are doing any sort of eyeshadow panning or type of projects like that, please let me know. I really enjoy watching eyeshadow panning. It's kind of my favorite type of panning, I guess. So let me know what you're doing so I can go check out your progress and cheer you on. But that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.